What a great crowd. Thank you guys very much. Thank you very much. And welcome here to the Trent Lott Center at the University of Southern Mississippi for today's very special announcement. Today's a special day, and we're excited to welcome, or maybe I should say welcome back, one member of our Southern Miss family, and we're excited about that. Let me take this opportunity real quick just to say thanks to all of you who are here, all of you that are watching on the internet, and tell you thanks for all you have done for Southern Miss, all you continue to do for Southern Miss, and all that I know you'll continue to do in the future for Southern Miss. At the end of our press conference today, we're going to allow some time for our members of the media to ask a few questions. And guys, we would ask you to go to the microphones and identify yourself when you do that at the end of our press conference. Also, at the conclusion of our event today, out in the lobby, out in the rotunda, we'll have a reception so you can have a chance to meet and greet with our brand new football coach. At this time, I want to get us started. I'd like to introduce a man who has worked tirelessly over the last week to bring us to this announcement today, but that shouldn't surprise you because this guy works tirelessly every day for Southern Miss and for Southern Miss athletics, and he puts his heart and soul into everything that he does here at Southern Miss. So if you would, a warm welcome for our Director of Athletics, Bill McGillis. Bill.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, John. Is John Cox a treasure for the University of Southern Mississippi? Thank you all for joining us for what I think is an amazing day and another great day to be a Golden Eagle. I know this is supposed to be a press conference and not a pep rally, but can we start with this? Southern Miss? Top. Right on. Before we introduce our new head coach and his beautiful family, I'd like to express my appreciation to a number of people, and bear with me because there's a lot of people behind the scenes who helped make this day possible and got us through the last week. When you embark on a journey like this, especially one of this magnitude and one that takes place in a compressed period of time like this, a lot of people got to come together. A lot of people have got to come together. To that end, I want to start with a special thank you to Daniel Feig. Many of you have not met Daniel. He's the number 2 in the athletic department, our Executive Associate Athletic Director. Daniel, if you would step up just a bit. Daniel and former Golden Eagle great Adelius Thomas were with me every step of the way over the course of the last week, sat through the interviews and helped with this process, provided great counsel, great perspective. I'd like to thank my young Chief of Staff, Austin Cox, who worked behind the scenes and managed a lot of logistics. He managed the planes, trains, and automobiles that we used for the last week, and it's not easy doing that. Austin Cox in the bow tie, thank you. Special thanks to our university pilot, Julian Allen, and his team who flew us around America to get this done. And I want to thank President Rodney Bennett for providing great leadership during the hiring process and for his unwavering support for our athletics program and for the university. We are blessed. Please stand. Please stand. We are blessed to have Dr. Bennett's leadership and Temple Bennett's leadership. I'd also like to thank all of the former coaches and players who've shared their perspective with me, not only over the last week, which many of them did, but over the 2.5 years that I've been blessed to be here. I know Coach Bauer, who was recently named to the College Football Playoff Committee. You know, which is perhaps the most powerful committee in all of college sports or in sports right now. What an honor for him. Coach Bauer is here today. Where are you, Coach Bauer? Please stand. And his beautiful wife, Debbie. Coach, thank you. Thank you for your perspective. Thank you for your counsel. Thank you for the legacy that you've left at Southern Miss. Thank you so much. I know we've got a lot of former players here. I can't mention them all, but I happen to see one coming in. Please join me in thanking Austin Davis of the Cleveland Browns for being here today. Austin Davis is in the back of the room. He should be in the front of the room. And all of the other former players again that are here. I want to give a heartfelt thank you to the members of our 2015 football team and our football program, as well as all of the members of our football staff. You know, we've lost 2 or 3 coaches in the last few weeks, but we have 7 men who, together with our football team, have done a tremendous job over the last week. I want to mention defensive coordinator Dave Duggan, Latrell Pollard, Justin Roberts, John Wozniak, John Simon, Luke Meadows, and John Williams, the 7 members of our coaching staff who, together with our players, together with our strength and conditioning staff under Zach Woodfin's leadership, and Todd McCall, our trainer, and Pat Stewart, and John Barnett, and Dane Brown, those men collectively, with the 110 players in our program, gave us a special season to remember in 2015, and join me in celebrating this team's success. Finally, I want to thank the Golden Eagle Nation, all of you and everybody watching, members of the Circle of Champions, the Athletic Foundation, the Eagle Club, alumni, faculty, staff, students. I know we've got some of our cabinet here. Thank you, deans. To get to the top takes a lot of people, and it's the entire Golden Eagle Nation that's the foundation and the heartbeat of this program, together with the athletes that have played here and are here today. So thank you so much. As I like to remind people often, and I never get tired of doing this, the University of Southern Mississippi has the winningest football program in the state of Mississippi. That's been the case for the last 20 years. 20 years in terms of wins, bowl games, and bowl wins. It's the University of Southern Mississippi. We're not number 2. We're not number 3. And some people like to forget that on occasion. We haven't. We have a great football program. We have great momentum. We intend to capitalize on the momentum of the 2015 season and be the winningest football program in the state of Mississippi in 2016 and for the next 20 years. In order to do that, I think we need at least a couple of things. I've given out this coin to many of you, and it talks about winning in the classroom, winning on the playing field, and winning in the community. And it has to the top, which all of you know, but I added that twist this year where I put the word together. And there's no doubt, to get to the top, it's going to take all of us doing it together. That's the number one thing. The second thing is it's going to take tremendous leadership from our head football coach. And I'm very confident standing here today that these 2 things are in place and that we are indeed on a path back to the top. I sent out a note last night to many of you, to the Eagle Club, Circle of Champions, and others, to some in the media, and I referenced the term whirlwind. And actually, before I typed that, I looked it up on, I Googled whirlwind. I want to make sure I had it right. So I looked online at the definition of whirlwind, thinking about the last 7 days, and I can promise you, it's a fact. It's been a whirlwind. I had the opportunity over those 7 days to hop, pun intended, on an airplane, set up shop at various places around the country, and meet with some of the best coaches in America. We formally or informally interviewed current college head coaches, coordinators and assistant coaches from some of the best programs in America and from the National Football League, as well as some of the outstanding coaches within our own football program. I consulted with a number of industry experts, people in the business, head coaches from around the country, commissioners, athletic directors, and others. I consulted with former Southern Miss football players, former Southern Miss football coaches. I consulted with a number of supporters, people who have been with this program for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I talked to former players over the course of the last week and again before that. This was obviously a very important decision. I also spent time talking to Dr. Bennett and talking through what was important to us and others before we got to the goal line. And that's where we are today. That's where we arrived Saturday night. And I feel so blessed to be. We had an excellent pool of candidates, all of whom would have enjoyed the opportunity to be the head football coach at Southern Miss. In the end, the very best candidate and the right match for Southern Miss was Jay Hopson. Okay, it was Jay Hopson. This is a special man and a special head coach. Among the many, many things I wanted to achieve with this hire was first and foremost to select a head coach who would seize the opportunity and build upon the positive momentum that we had at the end of this football season. I'm not interested in falling off a cliff. I'm interested in taking what we've done in 2015 and just climbing from here. I wanted a head coach who could put our program in position to win a championship in 2016, but as or more importantly, one who would build a foundation that would ensure long-term, not just short-term success as we enjoyed under Coach Bauer and our other former head coaches. And I wanted to hire a man who would provide the young men in our football program a positive student-athlete experience. And we don't just talk about that. It's not just lip service. We live it. And I wanted a man here who could do that. I wanted a man and a coach who could deliver on our promise to our student-athletes and to you of winning in the classroom, winning on the playing field, and winning in the community. We'll have all of those things in Jay Hopson. I know that. There were a number of reasons Jay Hopson and not someone else is standing here today. In addition to his expertise, which is tremendous, in addition to his experience, his extensive experience coaching college football, and the values that he brings, that you bring to our program, three primary factors carried the day in the end. One, the extraordinary manner in which he lifted, together with others, the Alcorn State football program. And that was in 4 short years. And as most people in Mississippi know, that's a proud football program. That's a program with a storied history that had gone through tough times. And in 4 short years, under very challenging circumstances, Jay Hopson went in to Alcorn and took a program from 2 wins the year prior to him arriving to back-to-back championships in his final 2 years. I think as importantly, and actually probably more importantly than the wins and losses, he restored hope first, then confidence, then pride in that football program. And that's not easy to do. And those kinds of attributes, the way he built that foundation, is evidence of what he will do as a head coach at Southern Miss. Secondly, As you know, Coach Hopson brings deep, deep Mississippi roots and relationships. And I think the importance of that in recruiting, but way beyond recruiting, for the benefit of our football program, our athletics program, and the University of Southern Mississippi cannot be understated. And finally, this guy understands the black and gold. He understands the black and gold. He hasn't just read about it, he's lived it. He's lived it. It means something to him. A little bit about his journey. Many of you are familiar with him from his time here. But to take you through it, and then we'll bring Coach Hopson up here. Coach Hopson's journey started in Vicksburg, Mississippi. Thank you. It took him to Oxford for some reason, which I'll let him elaborate on. And then to coaching stops at Tulane, at Delta State, at LSU, at Florida, at Marshall, at Ole Miss, at Southern Miss, where he spent 6 outstanding years, first as an assistant coach on the defensive side for Coach Bauer, and then as our defensive coordinator, at the University of Michigan, and at Memphis before becoming the head coach at Alcorn State. He's coached in the SEC, he's coached in the Big Ten, he's coached in Conference USA, among other conferences. He's coached in 15 conference championship games and or bowl games. He's a winner, he's a leader, he's a mentor, he's a teacher. Very importantly, he's a football coach, okay? And he's a Golden Eagle. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the First Lady of Southern Miss football, Michelle Hopson. Please come up, Michelle. His beautiful daughters, Hyde and Hannah, and your new head football coach, Jay Hopson. Let me give them some gifts, okay? And then I got to go to you. You just step back for a second. Where's that? Hey, let me give you this thing too. Let's do this. Let's do this little ceremonial deal. Coach Hopson is the 21st head football coach at the University of Southern Mississippi.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Bill, so much, and thank you, Dr. Bennett. It's the opportunity of a lifetime and a dream job for me. I'm home, and certainly words can never express my gratitude and what I think right now. I want to first talk to you about, I'm a football coach. You said that, right, Doc? I'm a football coach first and foremost. Debbie Bauer knows I'm a football coach because she came up to me and said, "Hey, Jay, introduce your wife before you start speaking." So the coach knows it too. That's who I am. You know, and the one thing Bill talked about, and I would be remiss if I didn't first say how much I appreciate Dr. Rankins and Derek Horn and those guys for the opportunity they awarded me at Alcorn State University. And he talked about the rebuild that we had at Alcorn. And there's a man in the second row here to your left that's a huge credit to that rebuild. And I say that in all honesty. You know, the standing ovation right now doesn't belong to me. It should belong to Coach Bauer. He's a man. And Coach, you taught me so much, and I'll never be able to repay you, not only for the things on the field, but the off-the-field lessons that you gave to me. And it was an integral part of everything I did at Alcorn and who I am as a football coach. So again, I love you and I appreciate everything. You know, the journey was long and hard, but to get back here was always my dream. And in building this program, you know, I want to start this program and I want to build it the right way. We've had great success, and I want to commend Todd and his staff on a great job and a great season. I think what they did was tremendous from 0 to we went from a 1 to 3, and now this past year a 9-win season. I want to build on that, as Bill said. I want to continue this growth. I have a goal as the head coach at Southern Miss to build a consistent program. I want to be a consistent winner year in and year out and compete for championships. And that's something that we're going to address as soon as we get back to the office here after this press conference. It all starts with recruiting right now. Recruiting right now, we have basically 11 initial scholarships that are pretty much all committed up right now. We're going to honor those scholarships. I know that'll be a big question coming on. We'll get these guys on board. But we'll start building this program on Thursday after signing date, and we'll start to move forward. It's truly the biggest honor of my life to be here, and I hope I do you proud. I hope I do bring you that consistent winner at Southern Miss that you want. I grew up in Mississippi. I'm from here. I remember the Bobby Collins days. Few of the PW days, not too many, but I remember the Bobby Collins days. I remember Coach Carmody. I remember Curly Holman. And certainly I remember Coach Bauer. I want to do what I can do to make sure we enjoy that longevity of success that we've had. Southern Miss, as Bill talked about, was always the winner. You know, the other programs in the state and around, we'd always been 2 or 3 seasons and inconsistent. Southern Miss was a consistent winner. And that's my vision for the program. We want to be consistent winners. We know we're going to have to coach hard, recruit hard, and we're going to have to build that foundation. That foundation for me, and I'm from Mississippi, and I know a lot of coaches in the state of Mississippi, that foundation for me is starting off with our high school programs here in the state of Mississippi. I'm kind of passionate about Mississippi high school football, Mississippi high school football coaches. I think we've got the greatest state in the country as far as that's concerned. And one thing we want to do, we want to make sure if we can get our local guys, and not just Mississippi in this 3 to 4 hour radius, if we can get our local guys, who I call true Southern Miss football players. You know, those guys, sometimes they got a chip on their shoulder, and maybe Alabama didn't offer them, but they should have. And that's what we want to get back to in that regard. You know, and I know we've done a great job in some things, but that's how I want to build that our program. I want to build it high school first. We'll certainly bring in some junior college guys when we need it. But there's a formula that I think I might have learned a little bit under Coach Bauer over the years, and that's something I want to try to get back to. But again, it's a big honor. I can still remember the TCU game back in '03, one of the great experiences of my life. Just what a tremendous. When you walk around the building, all those old memories come back. It was 6 wonderful years here, and I was just blessed to be here. And my promise to you is I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure we're a consistent winner year in and year out. Now, having said that, we all know, and I tell my football team, and I told some of the boosters earlier this morning, I tell my football team this: in football as in life, adversity strikes. How we handle that adversity determines who we are as a football player and as a person. So we know at times there might be a little bump in the road, but I promise you, you're going to have a staff, you're going to have a football team that's going to represent the University of Southern Mississippi in the classroom, on the football field, and socially. And that's our goal here. So with no further ado, Southern Miss to the top.
We're going to get this microphone, get a few members of our media here. If you would give your name and your affiliation so Coach Hopson will know who he's speaking with. So Shirley's got the microphone. So Shirley, who's got a question here? Here's one, Patrick, down here.
Patrick McGee, Sun Herald.
Patrick, good seeing you.
Good seeing you. If you would talk about the timing of this, obviously it was difficult for Alcorn and Southern Miss. Where the hell did that impact all this?
It's always tough. Now, Patrick, I've had 2 unique situations in coaching. The first situation was 4 years ago. I inherited a football team in July, basically in June and July. And we started our first practice August 5th with a game on August 29th. So it's not as crazy as that. But coming in this 2 days or 3 days before signing date is tough. The one great thing that we have in place is we only have 11 initials right now. We do have 11 commitments. Bill's done a tremendous job of honoring all commitments in our program, and I'm excited about all 11. And we're looking forward to those young men being a part of our program. So the transition in recruiting probably isn't as drastic because there's not as much to do right now as far as bringing in players. So it is quick, it is hard, but it's not unbearable right now.
Coach, Lanny Mixon, Big Old
I
Nation.
never met you, Lanny, so talk to me.
Good to see you, Jay.
Good to see you.
Jay, just kind of talk to us about what the last 48, 72 hours have been like for you.
Pretty crazy, as you would imagine. Bill kind of told you about planes, trains, and automobiles, but it's been hectic. Yesterday was probably one of the toughest days to say goodbye to a team that you had spent so much time and love with, and clearing out the office, getting on a plane, and coming and talking to our team, just telling the players who I am and what I'm about. And then you go in and you call recruits, and it's been a hectic day, go over the depth charts, talk to coaches. So yesterday was pretty tough. Today, of course, we've got the media, and we'll get back into some recruiting a little bit later on this afternoon. But it's been hectic, and it's going to be hectic. It's going to be hectic for the next week or two. I mean, that's just the process as we go in, as we continue to put the pieces to the puzzle together. But it's a challenge, and it's an opportunity that I'm looking forward to, Lanny.
Coach Hopson, Jason Munns, Hattiesburg American. Obviously, we all know how familiar you are with Southern Miss, but you've had the unique opportunity the last couple of seasons to be, you played them 2 seasons ago, played Southern Miss 2 seasons ago. So just that adds a little bit more familiarity for you, at least for the personnel, the team you have in place. If you could talk about that a little bit, how much you know about.
It's hard to say a lot until you get in and you really start watching off-season program and really start evaluating. I know, again, what an outstanding year last year, 9-5 Conference USA West champs. I mean, that's what we're here to build on. I told the players when I met with them yesterday, it's outstanding, and I'm looking at a bunch of men that battled from a 1-win season to a 3-win season to a 9-win season. So, and I talk about adversity. I'm a big life coach, not just an X and O coach, but a life coach, and that's something we want to build on. We want to continue that build in the process. We certainly, as we go, there'll be some things in the recruiting trail as we move forward. Like I said, I'm a big high school recruiter, so we'll still JUCO recruit too, but we'll move forward trying to balance some numbers out in our classes. But at the end of the day, what a tremendous job by our players, and the coaches that are on staff did a tremendous job. And again, we're just going to try to build on that.
Ernest Boker from the Vicksburg Post.
Hey, Ernest.
Just seeing this reception here, a full packed house, the promotion that they've done the last 48 hours. What has that been like, just feeling welcome?
Well, it's a great feeling. I can't talk about players. I just said I was actually talking to a quarterback, and I said, I hope you're as good as the last quarterback. And Bill just introduced Austin Davis, and Austin was the last, before I left, he was the last player I talked. I said, I hope you're that good. Yeah, but the end of the day is just to see so many familiar faces and familiar people is just, it's heartwarming, and and certainly we want to do you proud.
David Brandt from the Associated Press.
Hey, David.
Hey, you talked about recruiting the area and
By the way, all you guys, y'all know I can't call you back till now, okay?
I know you saw my number a couple times.
Not that I didn't want to, but go ahead, David.
You talked about recruiting the 3 or 4 hour
Right.
area and everything, and I was
Right.
wondering your perspective on, you were at Southern Miss during the 2000s, and then now, South Alabama has a program, Louisiana,
Right.
Lafayette got good, Louisiana Tech, all that. Is it harder now to dominate the area than maybe it was a decade ago in recruiting?
Well, recruiting is recruiting. We have to sell our program and the wonderful program, the tradition, the history we have. Southern Miss is a winning football tradition. It's a championship tradition. It's NFL players. That's what Southern Miss football is all about, and that's what you have to sell. And you have to get players on campus. so they can see, what a great institution this is, what a beautiful campus it is. Get them here on game day. Southern Miss sells itself, and I think that's something that we've got to do a great job of.
Hey, Coach. Tanner Watson, Rock 104. I was curious, have you given any thought to your staff and whether you'll retain this current staff or bring in some of your own guys?
Tanner, we'll address a lot of that on Thursday, just being real honest with you. Certainly, I'm going to interview everybody on staff. That's part of it. Basically, I'm not firing anybody. I'm rehiring everybody. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think one thing I want to do with the staff here, I want to interview each and every man. I want to see what I'm working with. When you build a staff together, I think that's very critical. You have to make sure that your staff is everybody's pulling on the same wavelength, the same page, and that's something that's critical to the success of any program or any business, any endeavor.
Coach, what message have you had for these recruits that you've spoken to?
The biggest thing is just talking to them about the university, who I am as a football coach, what our philosophy is, what we're going to do. And we've talked to all of them. So many young men that we've talked to are just excited to be Golden Eagles, and that's what we're excited about.
Coach, talk about who have you heard from your time here at Southern Miss, before? Have you taken a lot of phone calls over the last few days from former players, coaches?
A lot of former players. Certainly, I just talked about Austin, and there's been a lot of guys, Gerald and Antoine and Rod, and a lot of the former players. I'm missing some, so I hate just calling it out because my head's split in about 15 different directions right now in the whirlwind I'm in. So you hate, but I'm sure I'm missing 2 or 3. But certainly, a lot of guys are calling, and it's really heartwarming.
Jay, just, the last 5 years ago when you left Southern Miss the last time, 5, 6 years ago, you seem like you might be, just a coordinator, position coach for a long time. What have just these last 5 years been like, just having the success as a head coach and getting this opportunity at this point?
Well, certainly head coach in earnest is I've enjoyed it. I mean, it's certainly, I think it's a little bit more fun, to be honest with you, but there are a lot more headaches too, so in that regard it's not. But it's something that I've enjoyed. And, I'm looking forward to this opportunity. And, it's being an assistant coach. Sometimes you enjoy the fact that you're hands-on sometimes more with your position